Shoulder sideways, smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side, smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side, smack it in the air. Shoulder sideways.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Mom's the Word. I'm Eva Danielle and my co-host Gabe is asleep. But I wanted to come back and give you guys a quick update on our NuWave Brio 6-quart power air fryer. Now, yesterday we posted a tutorial/review of me unboxing the air fryer and also making fries for Gabe. So let me just tell you guys, he actually came back later on that evening, and I do say later on that evening because like I said before, he enjoys fries multiple times a day, and he actually requested that I make fries using the air fryer the second time. Now, I'm making emphasis on the fact that he requested the air fryer because when he thought that I was putting the fries in the frying pan, he started crying and he said, no, make them the other way. So the second time around, I made the fries and he absolutely enjoyed them. So again, I give it a thumbs up. So, being the daring person that I am, I just didn't want to stop with fries. I actually wanted to try to make something that the entire family could enjoy, and so I decided to make some fried chicken wings. And so, if you guys are still on the fence about trying a power air fryer or just wanted to know a little bit more information before you take the plunge, stay tuned and keep watching. I'm going to share with you a quick recipe I used to make the chicken wings, and then I'll also give you a few tips, tricks, and suggestions that I kind of figured out while I was in the process of making the chicken wings and the fries that may be helpful for you if you do decide to purchase the power air fryer as well. So keep watching. Also make sure that you like, subscribe, and share and tell a friend, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye-bye. So I wanted to try my luck in trying out two different versions of fried chicken wings. The first version, I'm going to be using Old Bay as the seasoning, and you also see I have here cornstarch and canola oil and eggs, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with that in just a second. And the second type of chicken wings I'm actually going to be using are just your good old-fashioned seasoned with seasoned salt, pepper, a little bit of paprika and onion, and you also see the cornstarch listed here. And again, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with all of that in just a second. So this is the first bag of seasoning here, and what I did is I took about 1.5 cups of the cornstarch, and then I added about 5 tablespoons of Old Bay, and then I put it in the bag and I shook it together, and this will be what I will season the first batch of chicken wings with. So you saw the eggs earlier, and basically what I did was I took 2 jumbo eggs and combined it with 1 cup of water, and I beat it with a fork. And so this is going to be my egg wash. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip the chicken in the egg wash before I put it in the bag of seasoning. And so this egg wash is what's going to help the seasoning combined with the cornstarch actually stick to the chicken. And I would like to note that I used 2 eggs to 1 cup of water, but I think next time what I'm going to do is I'll use 2 eggs, but I'll use a little bit less water because I would like the egg wash to be a little thicker, and I think that will help the seasoning mixture to adhere to the chicken a little bit better. So basically, excuse me, I'm trying to use one hand and not touch the chicken. So basically I take the fork and I'm going to dip the chicken in the egg wash, and then I'm going to put it in the bag of seasoning. And then what you'll see a little bit later is that I'm actually going to take these egg wash pieces of chicken and shake them up in the bag to help to evenly coat the chicken before frying. Now that I got all the egg wash pieces in the Ziploc bag, I'm actually going to shake the bag up, and I'm going to shake it a little bit better than this, but obviously I'm recording with one hand and I'm trying to do it with the other. But just to give you an idea of how you put the chicken pieces in there, and then you're going to shake it up and just make sure that all the pieces are evenly coated with the mixture. So you guys saw the canola oil earlier, and so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the canola oil spray and I'm going to spray the frying basket with the canola oil, and this is done to prevent sticking to the actual fry basket. So I'm all done coating the chicken with the cornstarch and Old Bay seasoning mixture, and what I've done is I placed them in a single layer in the bottom of the fry basket. And if you look at my last tutorial, you see all about preheating the oven fryer, and for this I preheated to 400 degrees in 13 minutes. So this is after about 10 minutes into the air frying, and per the instructions, you're supposed to flip or shake the chicken in order to promote even and thorough cooking. And so as you can see here, they are starting to brown and crisp, but they are nowhere near being done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the basket back into the fryer, and I'm going to increase the time by a little more, and obviously I'm going to have to keep eyeballing it to make sure that they are actually done. So I increased it by 6 minutes. I had 3 minutes left, and now I have 9 minutes, and we'll see what they look like. So right here, I've taken them out again to shake them and just to check them. I'm actually going to put them in for a little bit more. Although they are brown and crisp, it's my first time cooking chicken with this, and I'd rather err on the side of caution and make sure that they're done. So I'm going to put them in for a little bit more time. So I actually cooked them for about 7 more minutes, and then afterwards I took them out and I basically shook them in a mixture of melted butter and Old Bay seasoning, and here are the finished results. So about 25 minutes total to air fry that small amount of chicken wings. As I said before, I'm doing 2 different types of fried chicken. So moving on to the second part, I'm going to use the same method, and instead of using Old Bay, I'm going to season the chicken and the cornstarch with seasoning salt, pepper, onion powder, and paprika, and prepare it the same way. So here's the finished result of the second batch of chicken. So I would like to note that because this batch was larger, I did have to fry for a total of about 35 minutes, and I think I shook maybe twice. And so you just got to watch your time for cooking based on the amount of chicken that you're cooking. So, hope you guys enjoyed seeing the video and the pictures of how I was able to fry chicken wings using the air fryer. So, first thing I want to do is I want to talk about a few takeaways that I have in regards to air frying. The first one, and probably most important that I've come up with so far, is that number one, it's an air fryer. You're not frying in Crisco, you're not frying in oil, it's an air fryer. And so what I've noticed is that you are gonna get like a slightly different taste and texture to the foods that you're normally used to deep frying. However, it's very slight, and if you kind of remember what you're doing it for, and that's to prevent having to deep fry, then that taste quickly goes out the window. So again, just remember that it is an air fryer, and so you are going to have a slightly different taste and texture than you would if you were deep frying. So takeaway number 2, so piggybacking right on the fact that it is an air fryer, is that you're going to have to adjust your timing for air frying. Now I say that because, you know, on the directions it said that poultry can cook in 12 minutes. However, when I cooked a number of chicken wings, 12 minutes was just not gonna cut it, y'all. So I would say for a smaller amount of the chicken wings that I cooked, it actually took about 25 minutes, and that's with shaking them to make sure that the cooking was even. So it took about 25 minutes to fry up some chicken wings when I used about half of the basket. On the second half, when I used the second batch, I used the whole basket, which was about 25 chicken wings, and it took about 30-35 minutes because I wanted to make sure that they were done. So again, because it is an air fryer, you're going to have to adjust your cooking time because once again, you are not deep frying. So make sure that you leave time to actually cook and make sure that your food is done, especially like in the beginning. Once you kind of become an expert and you can figure out how long it's going to take, then you're ready to rock and roll. But make sure you're not in a rush, so that way you can ensure that your food is well cooked and well done. Something else I want to point out is that because it is an air fryer, and I know I keep saying that, but I just want to drive this home because a lot of people say, well, it don't taste the same as fried food. Right, because it's an air fryer. So the third thing that you may have to adjust is that you may have to adjust your ingredients. Now, typically when I was deep frying, I would dip my chicken wings in flour. However, I decided to use cornstarch this time because cornstarch is a little more thin, or I guess produces a slightly thinner batter than you would with flour. And so again, trying it out for the first time, I wanted to kind of experiment with a more thin batter versus flour, especially since I wasn't going to be using oil. And so I will say that using the cornstarch actually worked out quite well. And so people may say, well, I use cornstarch all the time. Well, not me. I normally use flour, but this time I used cornstarch. And so that's just one example of some ingredients that you may need to intermix or intermingle because you are air frying versus deep frying. The next thing I want to point out, especially when you're making things you're going to have to either shake or flip to ensure even cooking, is making sure that when you take the basket away from the machine, you're going to be pushing a button to basically unlock it. So make sure that once you take it out to remove it, you actually take your hand off the button, because I almost had a mishap where I kept my hand on the button, and so the fry basket wasn't properly latched into the actual bin. And so you want to make sure that you do make sure that you take your hand off the button so that you're not going to have a mishap like I almost did where you dropped the whole thing on your foot. So again, that probably was user error. Well, I know it was user error on my part, but I just wanted to point that out to you guys because I did that and I want to make sure that nobody gets burnt. I didn't get burnt because I was able to catch it, but that's one of the things I have to make a note of in my head when I'm cooking, to make sure that once I remove the basket, in order to shake the food, I take my hand off that button so that way I can remove the entire thing and not separate the two. So the other thing I want to reiterate once again is, because you're power air frying, you are going to have to watch the time. Until you become an expert with it, just make sure that you allow yourself enough time to cook. Now, I didn't think that it was going to take that long to fry the chicken. However, it actually did. And maybe it's because I was a little skittish and I wanted to make sure it was totally done, because I didn't want to, you know, poison my family. But you want to make sure that you watch your time, you adjust the time accordingly. And like I said before, once you become an expert and you can do this thing in your sleep with your eyes closed, then you know how much time to put it on, and you can just leave it and go. But in the beginning, just make sure that you watch the time, adjust the time accordingly to make sure that you're not burning your food, and most importantly, to make sure that you're not undercooking your food as well. Another thing that I kind of, I guess, found along the way as I was looking for recipes to fry the chicken is that you want to basically, I guess, grease the pan with a little bit of oil. Now, I did not pour oil into the basket. However, what I did was I took a canola cooking oil spray and I lightly sprayed the basket with it to prevent sticking. Now, one user that I can't remember the name, but they said that you don't want to use Pam cooking spray because it kind of leaves a nasty film that's kind of hard to get off. So I had canola oil cooking spray. The film wasn't too bad, but even after washing it in the top dish rack overnight, I did kind of see the film. So I think what I'm going to do is next time I'm just going to take a paper towel and put a little bit of canola oil on it, and that's what I'm going to use to kind of grease my pan. So again, I'm not pouring the oil inside, I'm simply greasing the pan, much like you would do when you're baking a cake so that things don't stick. But I'm simply going to grease the frying basket with the oil to make sure that the items didn't stick. But like I said, when I used canola oil last night, it didn't stick. However, when it was time to do a cleanup, there was kind of a little bit of a film left, and I kind of had to scrub a little bit harder than I normally would in order to get it off. So last but not least, concerning the power air fryer, and of course we're talking about the NuWave Brio air fryer that I have, and any air fryer that you may have. It doesn't have to be the NuWave, but I would say just make sure that you have fun with it. It may not turn out the exact way that you thought in the beginning, and so last night when I cooked, I gave my husband a disclaimer and I said, look, if it don't turn out right, you know, we're trying something new, but if it don't turn out right, we can just go to Burger King and we can start being healthy the next day. But fortunately, he told me, baby, it really tastes good. And I'm hoping that he wasn't just trying to hurt my feelings, but he actually did eat it. So I sat there and I watched him. I'm just kidding. I didn't watch him, but he did eat it all. But I say all that to say, you know, when you're trying something new for the first time, you can kind of get, I guess, first time jitters. But I can't wait to actually try and experiment with new recipes as time goes on. And so if you guys have any favorite recipes, if you are an air fryer expert, I would love to hear about them. So make sure you drop them in the comments. And again, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or whatever, make sure you drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to try and respond to each and every one of them. But like I said, I just wanted to come back and give you guys a quick update. I'm still giving the NuWave Brio 6-quart power air fryer a huge thumbs up. My family seems to enjoy it. Gabe enjoys it, and he's the harshest food critic I've ever met besides myself. So again, I'm giving it a thumbs up. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll be sure to respond. And as always, we thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Share this video and share some more. And yeah, if you have any suggestions as to another recipe that you've been thinking of, maybe I can try it and review it with you guys. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Shoulder sideways, smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side, smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side.